Okay, so the next item on the agenda is event initial report concerning an unplanned release of non-radioactive construction wastewater
We are done.
at the decommissioned Deloro mine site as outlined in CMD 15M26 and 15M26.A. We have a representative from Ontario Ministry of the Environment and Climate Change that are joining us by teleconference. I understand, Mr. Doggett, you'll be online. Can you hear me? Mr.
Yes,
Doggett?
I'm here.
Mr. Doggett?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, for whatever reason you are not coming across clearly. Can you get closer to the mic maybe?
Yes, can you hear me now?
A little bit better.
Okay.
Still
We
need to
do
be
have
close.
folks in the room with you too, so
Okay. I know I'll introduce them in a minute, but first let me start with CNSC staff presentation. And Dr. Newland, I understand you're going to make the presentation. Please proceed.
Thank you. My name is Dr. David Newland, and I'm the Acting Director General of the Directorate of Nuclear Cycle and Facilities Regulation. With me today is Corinne Glenn, Director of the Waste and Decommissioning Division, and the Ontario Ministry of Environment and Climate Change staff are also available to my right. We are here today to provide you with information regarding an unplanned release of non-radioactive construction wastewater to Young's Creek that occurred at the Deloro closed mine site on April the 29th, 2015 and continued through May 5th, 2015. I would just like to note that this is an information item to the Commission and that the review of the designated officer order will be done at a separate time. I will now pass the presentation to Ms. Corinne Glenn, who will briefly describe the event, the actions taken by the Ontario Ministry of Environment and Climate Change and by CNSC staff, and next steps. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Corinne Glenn, and I'm the Director of the Waste and Decommissioning Division at the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission. The Commission issued a license for the Deloro closed mine site to the Ontario Ministry of Environment, now known as the Ontario Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, or MOECC, in December 2009 with an expiry of December 31st, 2016. The Deloro closed mine site is a legacy waste site located adjacent to the village of Deloro, approximately 200 kilometers southwest of Ottawa, near the town of Madoc. The licensed area of the Deloro mine site, shown by the orange and red lines on the aerial photograph on the slide, is bounded to the south by Highway 7, which is visible at the bottom of the photograph. This aerial photo is oriented on the points of the compass with north at the top of the photo. The Youngs Creek Area Project is the smaller inset area north of Highway 7 at the bottom right of the photograph. The Moira River can be seen running down the center of the photograph, and Youngs Creek joins the Moira River a short distance south of Highway 7. As part of the Deloro cleanup, sediment in Youngs Creek, contaminated mostly with arsenic, cobalt, copper, and nickel, will be excavated and placed into an engineered waste containment facility. The Youngs Creek Area Project is at an early stage where construction of the containment area is nearing completion, and dry work zones are being established to facilitate excavation of the sediments. The dry work zones are being created within the creek bed using aqua barriers, which are large tubes filled with water and used to enclose the work zones. Once the aqua barriers are installed, water is pumped out of the work zone and over the aqua barrier into the creek, leaving a dry work zone. At the time of the event, 3 work zones had been delineated with aqua barriers, but remained wet. The water behind these barriers was non-radioactive and was construction wastewater. Outside those work zones, the creek continued to flow along its usual course, flowing to the south, off-site via the culvert at Highway 7. A rock barrier had been placed upstream of the work zone to limit the spring flows, and a similar rock barrier was established downstream of the work zones to limit flow and retain sediments from leaving the site. Aqua barriers are used extensively on site, as shown in the photo on the left. As mentioned earlier, aqua barriers are large tubes that, once filled with water, are used to contain water within an area as a temporary dam of sorts. The photo to the right shows a close-up of an aqua barrier. On Thursday, April 30th, 2015, MOECC notified the CNSC of an unplanned release of construction-related wastewater to Youngs Creek due to the collapse of an aqua barrier on the afternoon of April 29, 2015. On May 1st, 2015, MOECC notified the CNSC of another unplanned release caused during the installation of a new aqua barrier, as shown on the slide. Between May 1st and May 5th, 2015, MOECC deployed a series of control measures, including sandbags, 2 additional aqua barriers, and silk curtains. MOECC notified downstream users of these releases and reported them to the CNSC staff and the Ontario Spills Action Centre. It should be noted that neither Youngs Creek nor the Moira River are used as sources of drinking water for approximately 12 kilometers south of the Deloro site. Upon becoming aware of the first release, MOECC immediately began taking water samples, and the sampling continued after containment of the wastewater was restored. Furthermore, MOECC has set up a portable water treatment plant and is investigating the cause of the aqua barrier failures leading to the unplanned releases. CNSC staff have reviewed the results from the sampling conducted by MOECC and concluded that no environmental impact is likely to result from the releases that took place between April 29th and May 5th, 2015. MOECC's actions since the event have been focused on maintaining the integrity of the aqua barriers. Due to the high water levels, these actions have included planned releases of surface water off-site. Sampling results from these releases are not yet available, but will be reviewed by CNSC staff once they are available. Following the initial report by MOECC, CNSC staff reviewed the 21-day report submitted on May 21st, 2015. This review prompted CNSC staff to visit the Deloro site on May 28th in order to gather additional information about the releases. Based on CNSC staff's findings and observations from the site visit, CNSC staff increased regulatory oversight of the Deloro project, and on June 3rd issued a designated officer order directing MOECC to cease any activity which could further jeopardize the integrity of the aqua barriers and to develop and implement a contingency plan. The designated officer has referred the order to the Commission for review as per the CNSC rules of procedure. The Commission shall confirm, amend, revoke, or replace the order in a separate proceeding. CNSC staff will provide the Commission with an update on the Deloro site as part of the Regulatory Oversight Report for Nuclear Waste in Canada, which is scheduled to be presented to the Commission in December 2015. This concludes CNSC staff's presentation. We are available to answer any questions that the members of the Commission may have. As mentioned earlier, MOECC staff is also available to provide additional information and answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So before opening up the floor for questions, I'd like to turn the floor to the